So now we'll be doing the next folder, which is data. It's basically data layers, which contains three classes: helpers, task items, and task manager. So the first class is database helper. So this is basically the way the my SQL handler gets into place. So this class handles all communication between the application and the MySQL database. It acts as a data layer of the system. The first and most important line is this one. Line 9, private string connection string. So what this line does, sorry, it it stores database connection. The server localhost, the port is 3306, default one, and the database name which I created in my workbench, and also which is called cyberbot.db, and username root, and also this is the password of my system. So then this string is used to connect the application to the MySQL database. And then we have the first method, test connection. Test what connection? So what it does, it checks if the database is connecting, or is connection is working. That's what it takes. So how it works, it opens a connection using MySQL connection. MySQL connection, that's how we open the connection. If successful, it returns the true, né, which has an open inside, and if it has an error, then it does reverse versa. And then when we scroll down, we see a method called add task. So what it does, it inserts a new task into the database. It inserts a new task into the database. It opens a connection, runs SQL. So you see the insert into task on SQL. When you want to insert something in a database, for example, title, reminder, um, so it uses parameters like add title, add reminder to avoid SQL interjections. So this is the method I used: add reminder, add desk, add title. Those are the parameters that it uses. So you see, string query insert into task detail, the title in as you, the the title, description, reminder date is complete, variable title. So this is basically my table. I created a table um, in my one of my GUIs, and then the next method is called get all tasks. So it retrieves all tasks from the database. What it retrieves all tasks from the database. So how it works, it executes SQL. So whatever the select query is on SQL, that's what this thing recruits. It reads data using SQL data reader. It uses SQL data reader. You can see all of these things that I just, and here are the command query, and then the descriptions that remind me later, which I spoke about here on adding task. So now as we go on, we have a delete task method. So this one delete task from your database using its ID. It's using its primary key. So this one uses a primary key to delete from the task where ID is equal to primary key. Okay, it uses parameters in its parameter to safely pass ID. I don't know if that makes sense. And then you have mark completion, mark complete, um, int ID, int ID. So this one, it marks the number of tasks completed, runs SQL query of course, and uses task ID. So the key component of this database connectivity, it uses a MySQL connector to communicate with the database, and it uses the CRUD operations, which is create, read, update, and delete. So this is the first class of data, and we have what the second one, which is called task items. Second one, which is called task items, which is basically this class represents a single task in the system. It is used to store the structure and task data. So you can see very it has different types of properties. Data fields. You have different types of properties which are data fields. The first one is task name. It stores the name or title of the task, and then you have a reminder date, which stores the dates for the task reminder. If not set, user. We have is complete. It tracks whether the task is done or not. True if it's completed, false if not, or still pending. No, false is still pending. And then we have ID, our unique identifier for the task. So whatever task used within the database, this is the one used. And then we have description as well. And then the constructors here, let's look at the constructors. Task item, the first constructor. Task item, this one contains the task name. So what this thing does, it creates a new task object when a task is added. So how it basically works is that it sets a task name, sets default values. Reminder date is equal to datetime dot minimum value, and then is complete is equal to false. And then the method that we have here is called total string. So total string is basically controls how the task displays text. So how it works, it checks the connection status. So it checks the connection status, and then after checking the connection status with the string status is complete, whether it's complete or pending. So if reminder exists, if reminder is set, then it shows the task name, reminder date, etc. And then we have the output example. Let me give you an output example. Study cybersecurity. We have a slash a reminder of when to study cybersecurity, the date. Here's the task name, study cybersecurity, the reminder, which is outputs it reminder, and then there's a reminder date, which is written as a date. And then we have the status, which can either be pending or completed. So a without a reminder, we'll have the task name study cybersecurity. There's no date, but it will put the status as pending. Then the next one is task manager. Task manager is basically the task logic control. So this class, it acts as the bridge that Wait, this class acts as the bridge between the chatbot and also the database. So it manages task related actions like adding, viewing, and completing tasks. Let's look at the dependency here. The tasks database help. Task database helper. So what this does, it creates an instant database helper. It is used to perform like like all database operations. And then let's look at the methods. You have the ask method. It adds a new task. So what it does, it calls. If you should, it calls a task name and add it via the chat, which is now if this line. So this line uses default description and no reminder date. And then we have view task. This is basically when you view the task, and then we have a count method. It returns the total number of tasks. This will all make sense if we look at the GUIs, but this is the structure of my presentation. And what's next now is forms, which will be done in the next video.